Tom Parker Bowles as King Charles is strong amid cancer diagnosis, fingers crossed, touch wood, exclusive. When King Charles revealed his cancer diagnosis in February, there were doubts about whether he could still undertake his previously announced royal tour of Australia. Now, 8 months later, the 75-year-old monarch who reportedly paused his ongoing cancer treatment for the royal tour of Australia and Samoa alongside Queen Camilla, 77, has undertaken a grueling 9-day schedule, packed with multiple engagements each day, not to mention the challenge of a 22-hour flight. Amid the release of his new cookbook, Cooking and the Crown, Royal Recipes from Queen Victoria to King Charles III, Tom Parker Bowles, the monarch's stepson and godson, speaks to people about his admiration for both his stepfather and his mother, Camilla. Hello viewers, please remember to subscribe and click on the notifications bell icon, so you will be notified whenever we upload new cookies about the British royal family. The king is strong, Parker Bowles, 49, says of Charles, who arrived in Australia with Camilla on October 18 for their highly anticipated tour. He is doing what he can. He's following the advice of his doctors. Fingers crossed, touch wood. He's a magnificent king, adds the food writer, whose latest book, his 9th in 20 years, explores the culinary traditions of the royals. Tom Parker Bowles, at age 6, with then Prince Charles at a polo game in May 1981. With Charles at a 1981 polo game. Though Parker Bowles rarely comments publicly on his royal family ties, he also reflects on his mother, Queen Camilla, and how difficult this period has been. It's a terrifying disease, and when someone close to you gets it in whatever capacity, it's a very worrying thing, he says. But my mother is strong as well. She supports him in every way. I think it's wonderful to have someone you love by your side. King Charles and Queen Camilla depart following a service at St. Thomas's Anglican Church on October 20, 2024 in Sydney, Australia. Throughout the tour, Camilla has remained a steady presence by Charles' side. She's also undertaken solo outings, bringing awareness so some of her key royal causes, like supporting victims of domestic violence and sexual abuse. Queen Camilla and Tom Parker Bowles attend the launch of new book Cooking and the Crown by Tom Parker Bowles at the Audley Public House on September 5, 2024 in London, England. I'm incredibly proud of her. She's at an age when most people think of retiring, but she never complains, she just gets on with it, Parker Bowles says. Tom Parker Bowles praises Mother Camilla and stepfather King Charles' marriage, they are very well suited. Tom Parker Bowles has been a food writer and restaurant critic for 24 years. He is also the son of the Queen. He has, up until now, avoided talking about the royal family, let alone writing about them. But in his latest book he reveals, in detail, their eating habits and gastronomic preferences. I knew that I was putting my head into the jaws of a lion, but if I can't do it now, after a quarter of a century of writing about food, when can I do it? He tells Hello in our exclusive interview. But, of course, it will be seen in some circles as nepotism, he adds, cheerfully. His book, Cooking and the Crown, fuses history with recipes, including a few of his mother's, and features dishes relating to every monarch from Queen Victoria to King Charles, with over 100 recipes from breakfast to state banquet via high tea. It wouldn't have happened without the palace and the king, he says, describing the monarch as the kindest, most knowledgeable, lovely man. He is someone you can ask about food, and it's like asking an academic. He's trodden every corner of his kingdom, he knows farming, he's a farming hero. Of the king and queen as a team, he observes, they're very well suited. They work well together, and we're happy that our mother's happy. His mother's role within the royal family has developed organically, which has made it easier for him to adjust to her new status, although occasionally, when I'm doing a speech and she's there, I'll forget and call her Your Highness, and Camilla is also adept at moving seamlessly from informal to formal. "I come from a very laid-back family," says Tom, whose father is retired Army officer Andrew Parker Bowles, whom Camilla married in 1973 and divorced in 1995. "We all gather around the table. We all love food. We all love a drink." Tom enjoyed what he describes as a lovely, happy English upbringing in Wiltshire with great food. His mother's speciality was roast chicken. However, he didn't have the easiest adolescence. "She has always been, and this is not just PR, such a good mother," says Tom of the Queen. In 1995, Camilla's romantic involvement with Charles became public and Tom was thrust into the public eye through association. He often felt protective of his mother, especially in the bad days, the mid-90s, the aggression of the paparazzi, the screaming, the shouting, and she didn't have a network to protect her. "I remember high-speed chases down the M4 that were incredibly dangerous." Was he ever angry with or resentful towards her? No. Never, never, never. She has always been, and this is not just PR, such a good mother. He's currently toying with the idea of penning his first novel, a big, old-fashioned adventure story, but there's an obstacle. "I live on a deadline, so without it, I'll never do it," he says with a resigned but happy smile. "Heaven for me is looking in my diary and seeing a whole blank week apart from a couple of pieces to write and a few meals out." Queen's son shares what Charles and Camilla have for breakfast every day. The Queen's son, Tom Parker Bowles, has revealed what she has for breakfast, and it depends on the time of year. The food critic and writer, 49, was speaking about his new cookbook, Cooking and the Crown, which details the history of food within the royal family. It covers from the reign of Queen Victoria beginning in 1837, and Edward VII at the turn of the century, to Charles and Camilla. While lunch and dinner in Queen Victoria's time would be 10 to 12 courses, things have changed somewhat. Unlike aristocratic breakfasts of Victorian and Edwardian times where the spreads were full-on gastronomic assaults. Gut-busting epics that set one up for a good old-fashioned day's hunting, shooting and roystering. As Mr. Parker Bowles writes, the current reigning royalty eat much more simply, and healthily in the morning. Tastes have changed. During the colder months, Camilla eats a bowl of porridge every day, a recipe for which you'll find in the book, made with Scottish porridge oats, full-fat milk, a pinch of salt and honey, her own honey, that is, from hives at the house she owns in Wiltshire. In summer, it's yogurt. According to Mr. Parker Bowles, her lunches are light too, often the chicken broth, another recipe detailed in the book, or smoked salmon, while Charles famously doesn't eat lunch at all, but eats dried fruit and honey for breakfast, and enjoys mutton very much. Afternoon tea has always been a spectacle and an important, and substantial meal in itself for the royals, although Mr. Parker Bowles insists he's never been invited for tea at Buckingham Palace. "Everyone congregates for tea," he said. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and drop comments, and most importantly don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything.